Hello, dear listener. This is episode 2 of the Sporadically Speaking podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed episode 1, which I put out last month. I know that was a really long episode, so well done to you if anyone actually managed to make it to the end. In hindsight, I probably should have made it a two-parter, but, never mind. You live and you learn. So before I get to this episode, I just wanted to quickly plug a couple of my own things. As some of you will have already seen, I finally put a new video showreel together. So head to www.kdbuck.com to see that. If you're looking for some video production, please do give me a shout, as I need to earn a living. Also, on a more personal, creative front, a couple of weeks ago, I released my first ever official EP, which is a bit mental. But yeah, I did that. Here's a little teaser. Now, it's no secret that I've kind of been dabbling in beat making in recent years, which is a thing that I've always wanted to do. I have always been around people that did it, and I've always had an interest and kind of like a dormant passion for that kind of thing. But it just kind of took me a long while to accumulate my own gear and really get my head around that sort of stuff. And then, after a few years of putting demos on SoundCloud, I decided to try and formulate a few solid tracks which fit together in a nice little package, and then put it out there for the world to hear. So if you've not heard that yet, that's up at, kdbmusic.bandcamp.com, and it's there for free. So it's got kind of, it's sort of like a bit of, it's hip-hop beats with a bit of electro mixed in, so if you're into any of that kind of thing, you might enjoy it. Go and download it. As I said, it's free. So in this episode, joining me for a chat are two local legends. I've got DJ Lewis Ahmet, aka Victor Vector, and his frequent collaborator and MC, Andy P. These are a couple of former members of local hip-hop group Ways of the Mouth. They're somewhat pioneers of the Dorset hip-hop scene in their own right. At least to me they are. They are kind of well known for playing lots of house parties and putting on loads of local gigs. They've supported a few decent names as well, including Grandmaster Flash, and there's a nice little story about that gig in this episode. They, along with some other local talented people, built up a really decent reputation, and I thought it'd be good to speak to them because, as a big fan of hip-hop myself, obviously I know them fairly well, and I've always felt kind of a bit of a kindred spirit with the guys, and it was just great to chat to them about what they love about the genre, the way people value music or don't value music today, and hear some funny stories from past gigs and what the future holds. So, that's it. Please enjoy the episode. Tell your friends, share it around, and let's get on with it. So I've got like a little bit of a running order which we'll go through.
Okay.
Your mic's there behind you. It's up to you which one you just hold it. You just hold it like just about here. It'll be fine.
Check one.
Yeah. I can see it's all good. I pressed record about 5 minutes ago anyway, so cool. It's nice to get that little natural intro. Lewis, Andy, What's going on?
Hello.
How's it going, mate? All right?
Yeah, all good. Good to see you guys. That's all right. No, thanks for coming down. So some people listening to this might know you guys. Some people might not have a clue who you are. So for the benefit of people who don't know who you are, why don't you give us a little rundown? And I've just put down here, let's start at the beginning. How did you two guys meet?
Well, how did we meet? We met in Nate's front room, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. Yeah, good old Nathan Taylor. Had a house party and I took the decks down, set them up.
Yeah, and then I think I didn't know how to scratch or anything when I was playing around, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Having a mess around on it, and then sort of met through that because he was good friends with Nathan, a friend of ours who's mental, to be perfectly honest.
Heart of gold, but fully mental.
Yeah, definitely that guy that you would, as a kid, you were very scared of, but at the same time, he was like the nicest guy in the world. Nathan, I always found. So I think that's how we met, and then love of music and all that, I suppose, didn't it? Sort of took over.
I think you and Gus. How did you meet Gus?
Yeah,
because Gus,
so Gus
well.
I met.
Yeah, we should give a shout out to Gus. He's not here.
Yeah, shout out to the G-Man.
Yeah.
Me and Gus actually had quite a funny meet because when I first moved down here for the end of school, he was at the same school and we didn't get along because my friends that I'd made didn't get along with Gus,
Really?
right? So they used to all have fallouts and arguments and all that, and there was always a laugh because when I went to college and I met Gus and we got along, he used to always take the piss because I'd been arsed to him or whatever in the past because I didn't even really realise. So that was always quite a funny sort of meet there. And then me and Gus just sort of started off in college, I think. Started the Ways of the Mouth thing with a bit of Zach as well, Zachy B.
Yeah.
I was going to say, so that's the first time I heard of you guys. So I was at college and Zach was on the same course as me. I've not seen him since then. I don't even know what he's up to
I've
these
not seen
days.
him for ages. He's sort of like, you follow him nowadays, you can follow people on Instagram and whatnot, and you can see he's like doing like rigging and shoots and all sorts of like, interesting stuff.
Because when he was on the course, he was just known as he's the DJ, like the scratch DJ. Yeah. And I obviously been massively into hip hop, and I never got close to Zach, but we chatted and we worked on a few like projects at college together and stuff. Yeah. But so that was like 15 years ago, about 15 years ago, and hearing about Ways of the Mouth was the first time I'd heard of anything local that was relatively decent hip hop and rap. Yeah. You kind of think, oh, fuck all comes out of Dorset, Southwest that's in any way, shape or form listenable. Yeah, but I think it was Zach either used something on one of the videos he'd done or something like that, and really in the early days of Ways of the Mouth, and it was like, oh, there is actually something around here. These guys are trying to do it, and then I think you did become, not trying to blow smoke or anything, but you became like a really well-known local group of lads from Bridport that were doing it and putting on hip-hop gigs and house parties and DJing and stuff like that. And I think, you did build up a little bit of a reputation even back then. Yeah,
to be honest, it was a very nice thing at the time because there seemed to be a lot of people around here that were into it and wanted to do it, but no one had that balls to sort of stand up and be the first ones to like actually do it. Do you know what I mean? So it did grow into quite a cool thing because as much as we needed it to go a bit further, you know what I mean? But it did become quite a nice thing around here that you were just kind of known as the only
it was nice to be able to do like workshops and stuff like that, weren't we, as well? Because we weren't like effing and jeffing and it was kind of like a Will Smith sort of side of things.
I won't say it's comedy rap. It wasn't comedy, but it was
light-hearted, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like
light-hearted, definitely,
the breakfast song and stuff like that. Like that's obviously like everyone loved that. Yeah, and it's hilarious, and it's just
that was the most annoying thing in the world was turning up to gigs years after when you've made far better songs than a stupid song about breakfast. Then all anyone wants to hear is the bloody breakfast song.
I think it's just something about the way it sort of broke down and led up, and then like with the beat dropping and you starting to rap.
That was literally like writing that was just me and Zach, I think, originally just sat in his bedroom, just fucking completely taking the piss, to be honest with you. Trying to basically get a reaction out of the other person, you know what I mean? To say the most crude thing you could. Yeah. Then we just recorded it for a laugh, and then before you know it, it's years later, and you think you're making a lot better music, but no, that's all anyone cares about.
That was probably one of the crudest ones, wasn't it? I think that come out.
Yeah, we tamed it down a bit after that, didn't we?
Yeah, definitely. Because I often think about how back then, when you guys were making music, and it's a bit similar for me now with the video side of stuff, like the internet was still, it's not like it is now, like with social media and the way people share videos and stuff. There isn't really like with video stuff, there was never a demand for video online because you couldn't really watch it online.
Yeah,
it was just, it would buffer and really, so it was harder to share things back then. And I think sometimes you were a little bit of a victim of the time, you know, the place in time that you were making your music, because to put it out, you had to really fucking try hard, and you had to get stuff to people, you had to meet people, whereas now you could just send it to someone, or someone spots a video or hears something online.
Shared, doesn't it?
Just
do
shared.
it from your bedroom, don't you, without having to go out. But
and I think if that's like that, I know you're saying like that it's typical, that funny song that you didn't really put much effort into, like that's the type of thing that gets heard. If that's heard today, all of a sudden that takes people off. So it's a weird one. It's sort of like bittersweet. You had this really kind of good hardcore little local following, but what would it have been like today?
It's very true. It's very true. But then at the same time, I think maybe to the other way of it is that works out good in a way and fun for us because we had to get out and go and rock every house party we possibly could, turn up to any gig, not expect money, just want to go there and do it. We, you know, for a while we were every weekend we were out doing something, and it was great fun and all that, and it did add to the whole sort of vibe of it, but which you might not have done as much of if you were just making songs and putting them out on the internet.
That's it.
You'd just be sat there, wouldn't you? We would have going everywhere and just doing anything that we could do. So
there's a lot to be said for that kind of effort as well, and I think the experiences you're going to have doing that kind of work are, you can't compare them to if you are just sat in your bedroom like making a tune and then putting it up online. Then, you know, it annoys me when I look from a video side, I see these YouTube vloggers and stuff, you know, they are in their bedroom, they're making videos about, they're recording themselves playing games on a computer. They're basically not leaving their house. And I think, you know, I, back in the day, was busting my ass trying to film with local musicians and put work into videos, and nothing really comes of it. And then you see these people that don't put a lot of effort in.
Just sat at home playing Gears of War.
Filming it and just got 50 grand a month from their YouTube channel.
Yeah, no, it's madness, isn't it?
So you're right. And I think, you know, the stuff you guys went through is stuff that will be with you for the rest of your life. And if you were... You know, I know, Lewis, you in particular, you're still doing a bit of music stuff, you know, with your DJing and stuff now. Andy, I was going to get onto this. I don't know if you've still even got a love for this kind of thing, or you have.
100%. I've definitely still got the love for it. It just, the older you get and all that, it obviously gets harder, doesn't it? You can't do it like we used to do it in the ways of days where you could just spend all of your time, money on doing it, because it's just not quite as easy as that. But
responsibilities when you get older, isn't it? And
exactly,
time more precious. And,
But I don't think I've lost any of the love for it whatsoever. I've just lost as much time, I think. Do you know what I mean? I think that's all it is. So still got it. It's just one of them things. So we're still trying to work on music, doing the NapKings thing. And we're still completely trying to do it, but it's just not as easy as it once was.
No. But it's good that you've got all that other stuff behind you, because I think that's going to inform a lot of stuff you do now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your approach that younger people who might have a bit more time on their hands are just not going to have. So it's not to be knocked, you know, the way it was done before.
I loved all of them years doing all of that, you know, and like we used to always say back then, we'd turn up to any gig, it didn't matter what it was, and we'd treat it the same, do you know what I mean? It could be 5 old people in the bloody Salt House, or it could be a banging party. We'd always sort of bring the same thing and take the same fun from it, do you know what I mean? So I don't knock them days at all. Not at all.
So Zach, you don't really see anymore these days.
I still talk to Zach occasionally. He was actually down last weekend, but I was meant to catch up with him, but he got really pissed because he hadn't seen anyone in ages and didn't last very long, I don't think. But
this is always the way, again, with people that you might have collaborated with a lot when you were younger. As you say, you're getting older, responsibilities, they've moved away or whatever. Then if they do come back and visit, it's generally just a catch up. We ain't got time to be creative or do any work or anything. So
it's just like beers and catch up.
You have to kind of kick yourself up the arse like really hard if you want to make stuff happen, because it is difficult to find the time.
So like Zach's quite into film related things and all that. So since sort of the ways of days, I have worked with him quite a few times on some random bits, but it's another one of them things that you do this stuff and then nothing really comes of it. So like,
Zach's got a film like in the back. Remember the film that he was?
He done a film called Joyride, which, to be fair, was very impressive actually. It was like sort of a comedy about a spaceship crashing, and then rather than these two kids find it, rather than tell everyone, they take the spaceship for a joyride, basically. And we done the soundtrack for it and everything, done all the music video. He built this whole spaceship in his garage, the inside of a spaceship. Really, really quite impressive. And yeah, so we done all the song and all that.
Yeah.
I think Zach produced it and we done it. I've not seen or heard anything of that.
It's one of those things that have just gone to because I see you post stuff up, like little videos come out and I'm like, oh yeah, and then I just think, well, what happened to Joyride? Where's that gone?
Yeah, so I have not a clue what's going on with that, but that's another one of them things. That's sort of his projects on the side for passion, but then because he's trying to work in it, do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's finding the time in it, I suppose.
Yeah. And Gus seems to be living a bit of a normal life now. Is he?
Gus has lost the interest, I think. Not in a harsh way, I'm not saying that, but I don't think it's much for him anymore, is it?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. Like he always says to me that he's still writing and doing bits and bobs, but I think he's got a dog and he's got
dog is basically like a child to him.
Responsibility. That's the thing. Yeah, he loves that dog. I'm always seeing that on Instagram.
Yeah, I think he would like to.
It's martial arts as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he does BJJ, which I don't do BJJ, but I'd love to get into it. But the fact is, the thing that really puts me off is you get cauliflower ears if you do BJJ because everybody's wrestling on the floor and dragging across your head, and I just think, my ears are fucking big enough already. I don't want to like draw any more attention to them. Like, so I'm just like, that looks great, but I can't damage my ears anymore. So, and then I think I was thinking about it recently, and on his Instagram he was like, "Oh, my ears are really sore" or something. I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, I'm not getting into this." But yeah, he's a good lad.
I can't wait for Gus to develop proper cauliflower.
Yeah, I think it'd suit him, to be honest. Yeah. Big beard and some cauliflower ears. Yeah, I think that'd go down nicely.
It's coming. Yeah. I think some people get lucky, but if you're really hardcore into it, because you look at anybody you know who does BJJ and just look at their ears, and at least one of them is just like blown up here. But shout out to Gus.
But fair play to Gus for going and doing that, because he's always been really into all of that stuff, and I think he's probably put all of his passion that he probably once had for the music into all that sort of staying fit and doing all his fighting stuff, because he loves all that. He always has. But.
Yeah. On a more broad scale, hip hop in general. So obviously you guys, you say you met at a party and love for hip hop. So it'd be good to just know a bit more about how both of you individually, why hip hop? What is it you loved about hip hop? How did you fall in love with it? I know it's a sort of a hard question. You think about the first time that you understand what music is and what it can sort of do. You know, what was it about hip hop, or was there a particular artist or album?
For me, I think it was the way hip hop sort of draws multi-genres, isn't it? It is kind of like it's built up from, you look at the Beastie Boys were a punk band beforehand, and especially in terms of like sampling and making beats, you kind of just dig into whatever you want to take, and I think it's just sort of like a big pot of just different genres and stuff.
You hear that a lot, and I think that's like nail on the head. People who are often hardcore into hip hop will generally have a real broad music taste because they are sampling and pulling from things that they love, stuff that they heard while they were growing up, and then looping and making beats and stuff like that. And that is a thing you hear quite commonly. So, but was there any particular album or anything that really kind of sucked you in? I mean, because we should probably clarify for people that don't know, Lewis, you don't really rap. You're the DJ.
Yeah, the DJ.
Yeah. So what was it particularly about DJing? How did you get into DJing?
There was the Scratch Perverts. Well, one thing that pushed me more than anything was there was a mix that the Scratch Perverts done on.
I know the one.
I think it was it Dave Pearce back then that was doing.
No, it was
Essential Mix.
Yeah, what's his name?
Pete Tong.
That's it.
Pete Tong done the Essential Mix. They brought the Scratch Perverts, and this is 2-hour Essential Mix.
Yeah, serious.
Like hip hop, drum and bass, break beat. It just goes through all, and I just loved the sound that they just they just took everything and just put it in. And the Scratch Perverts were amazing turntablists. Yeah. Still are. So that was sort of like a big point for me, where I was just like, fuck, I want to learn how to scratch and how to juggle and just take time to just be a nerd and be in my room and just like learn as much as I can, sort of thing. So that was I think it was like turntablism that brought me in, really.
On the scratching front of things, I think the first time I was like, I want to know how to do that. And I really liked scratching, was probably Dilated People's Worst Comes to Worst. I remember being a kid, and just that chorus with the scratch chorus, I just went, wow, what is that? That is bloody amazing. Yeah. Like, that is just the coolest thing I've ever heard. So I think that's where I fell in love with the idea of scratching and all that stuff. Because I probably would only been about 12 or something, when that came out.
Yeah.
And I just started listening to some like rap music and just sort of the commercial stuff. I was getting really into it, and then I heard that and was just like,
what's the first rap song that you own? That you bought?
To be fair, I think it was because my brother, I had an older brother. So I'm pretty sure I had like some Dr. Dre and stuff like that on like tape cassette that I burnt off one of his CDs or something. So I think it was probably like that. And then Eminem come along, and I really liked all that. And then you just start going and going. Because my dad's a jazz musician, so all I ever really heard growing up was jazz sort of stuff, you know, all of that, which I'm nothing against, I liked it all, but as soon as I heard that, I think it was like the beats with hip hop that really got me, because I was just like, oh, they're just so cool, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? A bit of thud to it, but still we've got all that funky sort of vibe, and that really got it for me, I think, to be honest. Before the rapping came along, I was more interested, I think, in the beats, because I started off, when me and Gus started, Gus was the only person rapping.
Yeah.
I used to just make beats and do a bit of scratching and all that stuff. And it was only when me and Gus were writing one song, and he went, well, why don't you do a verse in it? Yeah. And then I was all like, oh, I don't want to get up and rap on a stage, that's wild mental.
Was that the map?
It might have been the map. Or was it? Yeah, no, I think it was the map, wasn't it? Yeah, the map. I think it was.
And you guys, you said to me you were so excited when you left the studio and you had it down. You were just like, yeah, right. And there was like a mattress in like some sort of shed or something. Yeah, we really like, well, we could fucking just live there and just live off the music.
Did just come out, and there was like some like skanky old like rundown car park with a mattress under a little like half built building. Do you know what I mean? And we were just like, yeah, it's fine now. We're making rap music. We're living here. It's fine. Right next to the studio. Yeah, but. Obviously, we didn't do that.
No, it's interesting. I think it's kind of similar because again, like I said earlier, round here, it's not a hip hop culture. It's not like a massive hip hop vibe or anything. No. So we all kind of have similar exposures to that kind of hip hop music and where we started to get into it. Funnily enough, first hip hop album I actually owned was none of anything we've mentioned, but it was the Out Here Brothers from the early 90s.
I had that, and I got my dad to buy it for me because I was living in Cyprus when it came out, he didn't buy it for me because it wasn't the album called like Two Polish biscuits. A fish sandwich and two. One Polish, two biscuits and a fish sandwich.
Yeah, that's the one.
So it's basically just so sexually orientated.
The thing is, they had obviously that like dance track, the Boom 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 song, which I loved. So I must have been about 9 or 10 years old, maybe a little bit younger. And my mum was. So I think I convinced my mum to buy it for me. But then obviously, that thing that was on the radio is not what was on the rest of the album. It was hardcore sex songs non-stop, like singing about lesbians and eating pussy and stuff like that. And
there's even a song called The Orgasm on it, wasn't it? Which was just a skit of everyone just fucking in a room.
It is. And the thing, one of the things I remember about it, like I say, the lesbian stuff, one of the songs was called Let's Be In Love, but when they sang it, it was just like, Let's Be In Love, which sounds like lesbian love. And I remember... getting it on the CD player, my mum was just like, you know, she just lost her shit and thought, you know, what is this? And I think she didn't take it back, but I didn't see it for a while, and then eventually like get it back into my CD collection. That's like, it's weird how you kind of get exposed to hip hop in that way, because, and I think of myself as a young little kid rapping along to, you know, to those ridiculous songs, and then as you get a little bit older, you find stuff that's maybe a bit more interesting or a bit more serious and stuff. But it's not like we all grew up with like people, you know, rhyming on the blocks and stuff like that.
Exactly,
we all have funny different little exposure to it.
So I had so there's a guy who used to live behind me, older chap, and I used to walk to school with him down Park, and he had like Ice Cube, I think it was like War or Peace with the Predator, and Ice-T, Home Invasion, and I had it on tape cassette, and I used to listen to that because I had one of those little Sanyo double jobbers, you know, the dub recording, 45, 33 speed, and I had it on there, and I was just, and the same thing, my mum was just like, what are you listening to? And I was just like, oh, it's, you know, it's Ice-T, Home Invasion, and it was pretty fucking hardcore. And then my uncle come down and was just like, like, it was around that, he was like going on about the LA riots, and like that was it, that tape was gone. Never fucking saw that tape again. Jeez. Until it was like 2 years later, it was my birthday, and I found where it was hid, and I was like, oh, can I listen to the tape on the way to Tower Park? Can we bang some Home Invasion? No, and I was allowed to have the tape, much to disregard to my dad, who wasn't happy about it. But.
That's one great thing, which I think if you lose a bit now, because you can just listen to anything you ever want to, but like that thing of you literally waiting a couple of years to get to listen to a tape one time. It's a bit. I mean, that was a love for music. Nowadays, you just go on YouTube. Anyone can listen to whatever they want, whenever they want.
I mean, that's such an important kind of thing to raise, and it's a thing I'm always banging on about to people. Things like like Spotify and stuff, which are basically these shuffle machines. People can hear anything they want. They'll hear something and then it's gone, and they'll hear something else. And when we were growing up, if there was an album you liked or you had a cassette, that's like all you listened to for like 4 or 5 months. You know, you knew it inside out. And then you'd move on to something else. You know, you'd read the lyrics along with it and stuff like that. People just don't do that today, so it has devalued music.
It's become a bit of a disposable art, hasn't it? Really, in the sense of like you buy it and it goes on a hard drive. You know, especially the MP3 side of it, it's turned it into a disposable art, and then you listen to it, and then bang, it's on a hard drive or it's gone, and it's a file that just sits, you know, in a dormant area on your computer, and you're like, then you might stumble across it again.
That's it. I mean, I've tried I was still buying CDs like a few years ago, you know, and then because now obviously vinyl has really exploded again, and you can pretty much anything that comes out you can get on vinyl now. So I stopped buying CDs, and I've made sure now if I buy anything new, I do buy the vinyl. They give you a digital download code with it anyway, so you know, you're not missing out on anything. But just having that thing in your hand that you can hold and look at and smell and all that shit, like it's just, that is really important, I think, when it comes to music. And you don't, I don't know, it just feels
whole collecting something as well, wouldn't it? Like, that's what I used to absolutely love about it. It's just like you actually collect it, and like when we used to DJ and stuff and do a lot of it back before, you know, all Serato and all that. Yeah. You know what I mean? All it come down to is because we used to all like DJ in a local bar, like me, Gus, and Lewis, and we'd all just, you know, back to back, sort of all night. And I used to love going out shopping for new records, because you had to actually find that thing to be able to play it, and then come back and be like, oh shit, I got this one. I get to drop this in the pub or the club now or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now you just, if it's out, you can just find it, can't you, and have it. Whereas you used to have to actually strive to be able to get that tune.
And like go to a record shop and actually pick the tune out, and they might only have so many copies. So you're you're one of a few people in the area that have a copy of that. You know, it's getting out there and
it's the thing. It's such a big deal, like I said, because music can do like so much for you. It can change the way you think, it change the way you dress, change the way you speak, and everything change your outlook on life. And if you've got all this disposable music, it's just in one ear and out the other. I don't know. I don't think you're going to gain anything from it. But like you said, if you're hunting things down and you're learning out, you know, I used to look at who the producers were and stuff on hip hop albums, and you'd see the names, and you'd never see these people on TV. As you know, Dr. Dre's producer, what's his name, Mike? I can't remember. It's Mike Elizondo or something like that. And you'd see this guy's name on every track, but you didn't know who he was. And I think who these guys were, and the early days of the internet, you try and find out and all this stuff. Things like that, I think have so much value. And then when things like Spotify come along and just, I can listen to whatever I want. What should we get? It's just, you don't care. And I think it's a shame, really.
It is, it absolutely is. It has taken away from it, isn't it? But
I think with the boom of vinyl again, I think that shows that some people do want to have that. You know, like yourself, and I'm the same. I'll buy albums. And, you know, I think it's just owning something. And Anna's parents have like a load of records, right? They've got like Rolling Stones, like first pressings. They've got like Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
From like late 70s and early 80s vinyls that just you cannot get now.
And you know, they've got ones with the same inserts with fucking stickers still in it. Cool. And I would like the idea of passing my records on to my children, my family, sort of thing. So it's like physically having something.
That's it.
And it treats values in a way as well, doesn't it? You know.
I mean, I do sometimes think about, you amass all of this shit like throughout your life, and if it's a vinyl collection, you think, okay, like if I'm hit by a bus tomorrow, who's going to clean up? It's someone that's got to go somewhere, that stuff. And there is people that are just like, but you don't need it. It takes up too much room and stuff. But I don't know. I think while you're here, having that thing that you can really enjoy and, like I say, might affect your life in a positive way is a really important thing. And if you're a music fan, it's a bit similar with film. Like, it does annoy me now how, all the movies are just online. Nobody buys like physical copies anymore. But I would love to, look for special editions of movies with like bonus features that you can't get anywhere else and stuff like that.
Making featurettes and stuff like that, all the behind the scenes stuff.
And some people just don't care, which is fine. I mean, if people, they have their tastes and stuff, and it makes no difference to them, that's great, good for them. But for me, I just think some of the biggest influences I've got out of my life are through film and music, and collecting those things and actually having them for real. It's just it's just so important.
To be fair, but I mean, I respect to Lewis really, because nowadays with it, he still DJs obviously a lot, and with Serato and all that, you can play anything, you know, that you can get. Well, you've got to give him props because you still just buy records.
I still buy records because
do you know what I mean? I see him do that all the time.
And also, it's supporting the artist as well. If there's an artist that I'm really into, and I'll probably download the tune.
That's it.
I might buy the digital pack, but I will go out if there's a vinyl record. I'll go out my way to buy the vinyl record because I want it part of my collection, and I want to support the artist as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. It's a good thing, to be honest.
The fact that vinyl's coming back round again, it's easier to.
Well, it's like, what was it? Tribe said years ago. He said, "My simple daddy, don't you know that things go in cycles?" So I've always thought about that because things do. They fade out and they're not cool anymore, and then as soon as they're a bit old, they become cool again and they come back.
I do worry about my vinyl collection. Like you say, if you got hit by a bus tomorrow, my vinyl collection's there, but I just wonder what's going to happen to it because I try and tell Anna like this one's worth this much, and you know this, but she's not interested. It's like her trying to tell me this fabric is this, like telling clue me up on some sewing stuff. So I do worry a bit like fuck, what would she do with it? I might have to have that conversation with her. She knows.
Get that on your will.
I think you just said another thing about supporting the artist again, which is a big thing for me. You get some people just like, why would I pay for music? Like it's free. You can get it on, you can download it see it on YouTube, or get a free Spotify account and you get everything. And it's like, but and then you speak to these people and say, okay, who do you really like? And they'll tell you who they really like. It's like, look, if you continue to not give back to this person, they're not going to be able to continue providing you with the stuff you love. And then at the very least, go to their gigs and buy a t-shirt or something like that, because they're not making money from the music. And if you just think, this thing that you hear for, you hear an album, say an album is an hour long, that's an hour of your life and your time, and you hear it, you might love it, you might hate it, but that person has probably put like a year's work into that. Multiple people have put, people who do the artwork and stuff. And if you really love it, I do believe you should support it in some way possible. Not everyone can afford to buy music, I get it, but if there's anything you can do to support your favourite artists, you should really do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed,
It's a bit tricky with Spotify, because I don't know, sometimes I swear people have their stuff put on Spotify and they don't even know about it. Like, stuff gets on iTunes, and I think that's a big problem, isn't it?
I guess when if there's a label or a distributor that owns it, they put it on there whether people want to or not. Because you do get a lot of high profile artists. I know the Black Keys are one off the top of my head. Like their stuff isn't on Spotify. At least as far as I'm aware, it's still not on Spotify because they will not get involved in it. They put out an album on their website and they don't charge for it. They say you pay whatever you want for it, but we're not putting this on Spotify because they don't give back to the artists. You get like 0.0000 p per 5,000 plays, and it's just like, unless you're Beyonce or Ed Sheeran, you're not seeing any royalties from that. And granted, you can get some exposure, and if you're trying to get your stuff out there, people say, oh, is it on Spotify? And if you say no, they might instantly just turn off and be like, well, I'm never going to hear it then. So it's this really complex sort of situation where...
It's crafty. There's teams as well, like management teams. I know for a fact, like Ed Sheeran. So when Ed Sheeran dropped his album, didn't he have something like 9 number ones?
Yeah.
Had a number one, but 9 singles in the charts. And I think the reason he done that, his marketing team were like, basically, right, so do a love song, do a breakup song, do like a happy song sort of thing. And what that does then is all those songs, when he drops that album, they all fall into different playlists on Spotify, and because it's to do with streams, you get more streams off it that way. And that's why a lot of those singles were bang, like all from his album and all in the charts at the same time, because he released it, and then it met so many like playlist genres on Spotify that he just
I mean, this is you look at that from one angle and you're like, okay, great, that just means more Ed Sheeran music. But then you look at it from the other side, it's like, okay, but look at how that music was created. It was created to target specific things and to be in the charts. And I don't know, we're all a bit older, and it can be easy to say like, it was better in the old days and stuff like that. But it was, I don't know, I think like to get number one, you need probably like 5,000 streams or something. It's so minimal, whereas in the past you needed like 100,000 singles
to sell.
Actual
sales, wasn't it? Back in the day.
No one. I mean, I don't listen to the charts anymore. Like I haven't for years. I don't know if anybody really does, because. And then if you've got somebody like Ed Sheeran who's just specifically making an album to hit every target to make sure he's in the charts,
he's got the label and his team saying, right, make sure you hit this criteria doing your album to ensure that you're going to clean up in the charts.
It's hard. It's really hard not to be cynical about that approach.
It really is, isn't it?
I mean, what can you do?
It is just become completely business, isn't it? Really?
Industry standard.
Yeah. I do remember, it did piss me off, because Eminem was at Wembley in 2014.
Yeah.
And I went to that gig, and it was great. And then the year later, Ed Sheeran played Wembley Stadium, and the whole promo for that tour was the first ever male solo artist to play at Wembley Stadium.
Really?
And I was like,
Holy
I saw
fuck
Eminem last year, and they don't care. They make their own history. When they're marketing somebody like Ed Sheeran, it doesn't matter. They don't expect anybody to. They add that the first ever male artist, people are going to go, oh wow, he's the first ever male artist to play Wembley, and it's like, no, he isn't at all. So things like that do really wind me up.
But even before Eminem, surely like Elton John's played Wembley.
I think it's the new Wembley Stadium, the old, which is obviously like probably another 20 more thousand seats.
Make a thing out of anything, aren't they?
Yeah. So it's a business at the end of the day, and I get it, but I think at the foundation, you should just support the people you like
totally.
in any way you can. So, I think it'd be cool to talk about touring and playing gigs. Is there anything particular throughout the entire history of your careers in music that you've really enjoyed, or you think it's a bit ridiculous or mental? Because, from speaking to you guys in the past, generally... If we're not massively close, but we've crossed paths plenty of times.
Totally.
But then I always hear stories about you guys and gigs you're playing and stuff like through the grapevine, and it sounds like a laugh. Some things sound utterly mental and ridiculous.
Some stupid ones.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your touring history and what's been your favourite gigs to go to and all that kind of stuff?
Well, we used to do a lot of house parties, isn't it?
It all sort of started with that, didn't it? And then it went from literally anyone's house that was available, we'd turn up with decks and some speakers, to beaches, to anything, do you know what I mean? So it started off with all that. Then I suppose we kind of got in a bit with a lot of the local people, like the youth centre and PVA studios and people like that started giving us some very strange gigs where, like I say, you're taking hip hop to the elderly.
You'd be playing it and there'd be like an old lady in a wheelchair at the front, and it's just like, and then someone would just come and wheel her away halfway through.
That was always the joke, wasn't it?
We've done this. She's in a wheelchair and she's been wheeled off.
We always joke with this one particular gig that there was actually a woman in a wheelchair, and we were like, the gig was so bad that even the woman in the wheelchair managed to get up and walk out. She didn't actually get up, but that was just a little joke. That was the one with
Oliver Letwin. So Oliver Letwin, it was something to do. They opened up something down West Bay, and they asked us to play there. And Oliver Letwin was meant to be there, and we were like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. We'll be able to wind up a bit. And he just rolled up, took a photo, and then just went on. Had his photo taken outside and was gone. And
but bless, I got like Julie at PVA and a lot. Like Arthur down the youth centre, he just used to just chuck all these gigs our way. It's just not who you should be booking to do this gig. This is just not normal. But we were just so fun-loving and just up for anything that we were always just like, yeah, of course we'd do it. Like me and Gus went round to all the schools and rapped in assemblies and all that. And it was horrible actually. I didn't enjoy it at all because you got to get up at like 7 a.m. I'm walking into bloody school when you've not been at school for years. They give you a cup of tea and then they perform. And I'm like, I'm not going to swig my tea yet. My eyes are still closed.
But this is what I mean when I was talking about that weird little hardcore awareness people had of you guys.
Yeah. That helps to local exposure, doesn't it? Like you're going to rap into an assembly.
It's great fun, don't get me wrong, But yeah, we've done some very weird things like that. And then I suppose, there's been obviously better gigs, haven't there? So
I think it helps in Bridport because the Electric Palace started booking decent acts, big names, and because we were doing hip hop and was part of the local scene, we were the go-to people, wasn't it?
Yeah, really? To be fair to us, I think we played quite a big part in trying to push for it. When Gabby was first there and they were revamping it all, we were putting people forward. So like the Scratch Perverts, for instance, we were the ones that put them forward and originally said about booking them, and then she was like, well, how about this? Why don't I pay for it? Bloody bar. And they were
brilliant. I mean, the Electric Palace let us basically set up a room underneath the stage.
Yeah, so we had our rehearsal.
We had all the turntables lined up, and we could just practice in there. Yeah. And it was brilliant. We had, so they supported us, and we helped them back by.
Yeah, so we used to do a lot of support gigs, and that's where we used to rehearse under there and all that. And there's still like WOTM written all the walls down there. I went down there not long ago.
They had Grandmaster Flash.
Yeah, that was a funny one. We supported Grandmaster Flash.
They say don't meet your
heroes.
Yeah, there's a bit of a one because you all get shafted out. You're not allowed in the theatre part.
Your own place, mate. Yeah, you're there every
while
day.
He's there, so we all get shafted out. We're all sat at the bar, and then someone comes out and goes, he'd like to see you. It's all just like
summoned in.
Yeah,
but what it was, it spied the record box and spied the laptop, and he was just more interested in what we were playing.
Yeah.
And he went through my record box and went through my Sorority playlist and was just like, you can't play that, you can have that, you can't have that.
He'd literally taken records out there, no.
We weren't allowed to.
Don't want to clash with his with what he was doing.
We weren't allowed to play anything with any reference to Flash, and white lines, anything that quite possibly, points in the direction of Grandmaster Flash or anything that he could use. Which I understand as a DJ. If you're supporting someone, like, you wouldn't play a load of Ugly Duckling tunes in a set if you're supporting Ugly. If you're warming up for Ugly Duckling, you just don't do that. You work around it. Maybe play stuff from the area, sort of thing. But he was just specifically was telling us what we could and couldn't.
And it was quite hard because we're all just so like, oh my god, it's Grandmaster Flash.
Really, are you? Like, he just like, sure. And
he had no sense of humour.
5 minutes then.
He was going on about white lines, and there was a white line on the floor, and he was like, you can't play this, and no white lines. And I was like, what about that white line? and thinking like, that's funny. And he was just looked at me as to say,
he didn't smile once, did he? I was like, all right. Because I was there just the whole time just going, can I ask to have a photo taken with him yet? When's he going to be nice? Because he was quite serious.
Worst signature ever.
Finally went, so can we have a picture taken? And then he was just like, done. It's just like over in a minute.
You asked him to sign the turntable, and it looked like someone had Parkinson's. It was just like it was the worst signature ever. It was like just a squiggle. I swear I could have done it and just gone, you signed it, Andy.
Oh, that's so funny.
And then it was an awesome gig, don't get me wrong, but then like he went on and he's shouting out, it was in Bridport obviously, and he's shouting out Bridgeport, wasn't he? He's going, everyone in Bridgeport having a good time, and we were just like, oh god, come on Flash. But it was a cracking gig, it was good fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose it's just, he's probably never heard of Bridport in his life. No. Yeah, he's, been booked there, he's going to play a gig.
Yeah, to be fair, a lot of people I think that get booked at the Palace literally just go, what's just happened? We drove into the sticks and now we're here.
Especially when they come around the back. If they come around the back and you walk in, you go to the front, and it's like an old cinema.
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing to look at. Like Scratch Perverts fucking loved it. They were constant. They come around the back and they were just like, whoa, look at it in here.
They were like, last night we were in Fabric, and now look, what the fuck are we?
It is like a theatre. Yeah, it's got that kind of vibe about it.
Yeah.
And it's a nice place. The Flash. That's really funny. Obviously, there's been a few other names. How was were you involved in the Stanton Warriors gig at all?
Yeah,
recently.
I was. Yeah,
because I saw that being promoted, and it was something that I did want to get down to, but I think something came up.
Yeah,
that's another fairly big name.
Yeah, that was brilliant, and then they're really nice guys. So that fell on my birthday. So there's a girl, Rosie, who was bringing in sort of like the dance sort of side stuff. Yeah. She's not now, unfortunately, so she booked them. And it was a bit tricky. I don't know how much I can say without. No,
of course,
But there was behind the scenes. There was a lot of prep that was being done to then use that gig to then be a footstone for the next gig. So in terms of like at that gig, there would have been flyers for another gig. Yeah, but they didn't want to commit to the other gig until they saw how that gig went. Yeah. And we were like, well, it doesn't work like that. We want to, you get the ball rolling, and you sort of like, so that's a shame because that didn't sort of like happen. But the gig was amazing. It was good. It was good time. It was my birthday as well. So it was nice. So it's the first time my dad had ever actually seen me DJ, and he sat upstairs. I gave him the Wi-Fi code, and there was free beer and stuff upstairs. So I was just like, sit there, and he'd come down and watch me spin. And afterwards, he was so funny. He was just like, oh, I'm so proud. And he was just like, I'm sorry, like all those times, like he was like telling you to turn it down and stuff. And I was like, well, this is what I was practicing to do. Like, and he was just like, oh, he goes like, I'll be your manager. Like, well, how do we like, where can we go from here, sort of thing? And I was just like, what are you on about, like? But yeah, that was really nice, to be honest.
I mean, parents are like that, so especially dads. I think my dad still doesn't know what I do with my life. Like, I tell him I've made TV ads and stuff, and he's just like, yeah, great. And then the next time I see him, he's like, so what is it I need to tell people? If they ask me what you do, what is it you do? And I'm just like, don't worry about it, like no problem. Yeah. So I think it'll take him seeing some big thing on a big screen, and he'll go, oh yeah, you actually do so you're pretty good at this or something. So it's typical of dads to be that way, I suppose.
To be fair, my mum, when we first brought out the Ways of the Mouth EP, that first one we brought out, and put it in some shops and all that, bless her mum, I was like, bearing in mind I was sat in her house putting all the CDs together and all that. I then went and put them in the shops, and she went and got every member of my family to go buy one.
Really?
Yeah, I was like...
So your family funded the first release?
Yeah. I mean, it's only £5, but yeah, I think they all had one. I think my nan probably had one, I reckon.
Really? Brilliant.
I don't know if she ever listened to it, but...
So, yeah, a minute ago you mentioned Ugly Duckling as well.
Yeah.
And so if you supported them, how did a sort of relationship appear with those?
They're just really
they seem a bit
humble.
more nice to sort of work with, maybe.
Yeah, they're humble and real nice guys. Like, so I went to see them in Cardiff ages ago.
Yeah.
When they were touring with Giant Panda, and they'd actually been in the UK long before that. But this was just the first time I'd seen them, and it was just like such a memorable night. We went to see it. It was at Student Union somewhere in Cardiff, and I went up with a friend, Connor, who just got too drunk, and basically we were just like, chill it out, we're not even like in yet, you're not going to get in, and he was just off his fucking nut.
Excited.
Yeah, so he didn't get in, right?
Shit.
And I was just like, we've come all the way, so you just fucking have to sort your shit out, mate. And I was like pretty ruthless. I was like, I want to see these guys, like I'm hyped for this. So we went in. Connor, long story short, like climbed in through a window somewhere and got into, and we're like, Ugly Duckling were just about to come on, and then Connor's just like appears and like, yeah, and we were like, yeah, and then this bouncer's like, him, and then he just disappears somewhere else. And we found out afterwards that the window he climbed through was like Ugly Duckling's dressing room. So like he climbed in, right, and they were like, what the fuck are you doing? And he was like, I can't get in here, they wouldn't let me in, like, and they were just like, well, you can't be, you're going to get us in trouble, you can't, what are you doing, like, in it? And he was just like, oh, you guys are pussies, right? And he goes, I'll see myself out, and he opens what he thought was like the way to get out and just goes into the bathroom, and it was just a real awkward, real awkward moment. So kind of like, yeah, when we saw him again, we were just like, oh mate, got into your.
Remember that guy that invaded
and they
your
were like, oh
room?
fuck yeah, he was like shot away sort of thing. So yeah, we had that rapport then, and they're just like nice guys, like.
Well, we kind of found ourselves going to a lot of their gigs, didn't we?
Yeah.
After that, we'd go every time they were here. We'd go to at least like one or two of their gigs. So. And because, they're quite humble people and all that, they do actually kind of remember the fans, you know what I mean, they meet, because they always come out and meet people after, at the T-shirt stand and all that.
Yeah.
So we started meeting them quite a few times, and then you sort of get to know them, and they always do a bit, don't they, where you get up, say get someone out of the crowd who'll get up and rap. So I think it was Gus, we used to always get Gus to do it, didn't he? He'd done it a few times, and then I'd done it once and all that. So, and then it's cool of them that they do begin to start to remember you, don't they? And then when we warmed up for them, we went and met them, didn't we, in Weymouth? They turned up, and it was quite cool because we were just going over to play. It wasn't us putting the gig on or anything. And then I think you talked to them, and you.
We got off the bus, and they were there at the bus stop.
Oh, that was
Andy,
it. Yeah. So then you go hang out with them, and it's just cool, isn't it? To be honest, so I think that was a big one for us because as a group, we'd always quite idolised Ugly Duckling. We loved their whole sort of. The whole mentality of how they gigged and stuff. It was really crowd pleasing. Do you know what I mean? That was, especially for me, I think that was a big part of teaching you how to perform and all that.
Yeah,
you know
interact with the crowd.
Yeah, really interacting and keeping it fun, not just being music, watching it and getting a bit bored. Do you know what I mean?
Are they still doing things now?
Yeah.
I mean, because they seem to have been around for so long, and this is what you often hear about these ones that put the work in. And all right, they're not so famously well known, but they do all right because they got a following and they do all these gigs. They're constantly touring. So
yeah, they have got a good following.
But they tour hard. Like they put in a lot of. People like don't understand. Like they would do like night after night, and they rent a car and they drive themselves around the UK. It's not it's not a tour bus.
No,
it's
they're
not
earning minimum
glamour.
wage and stuff basically when you work.
Lugging around the merch, selling as much merch as they can.
And to do that all the time and still bring the show that they bring, and actually still be happy to be doing what they're doing is awesome, I think.
Yeah, but in terms of music, I don't know what's going on with. I know Diz.
They've been doing some solo projects.
Andy released Layered Effect album, which is Andy Cooper released that, which is really good. Abdominals on there, and Blabbermouth as well, Dutch rapper who's like really fast paced MC. He's on that album, so it's a really good album. Diz is got something going on called Grumpy Old Men, which is slowly bits chipping away, and he's doing that. That's coming out. And Rod's still, I think he's just, I know he just sells a lot of his record collection on eBay, to be honest. He's always like listing records. Sometimes I buy some off him. But yeah, he just like sort of does that. But he's in, there's a music documentary about music library sample records that a lot of people have sampled. There's a film coming out and he's in that. He's got interviewed for that. I think that's due out this year sometime. It's called the Music
Library.
Bloody
Good, isn't he, Einstein?
Yeah, but he had like he was sort of like introduced me to Nando's. Really, that was what started my love for Nando's, because he loved Nando's. We'd always go to Nando's, and whenever we'd meet him, it was just like we'd go up to a gig and we'd go to Bristol, and we'd go to Nando's, and then he'd either be in there or he'd walk in when we were in there. And it's like, oh, there's Rod,
unofficial meeting point, basically.
Yeah. So that was like, that was. But there's only one. I think he was telling me there's only one Nando's in America. I don't know, it's probably changed now, but it was in Washington. And he said it's not the same because the chicken's not the same or something. And he's just like, shit. He said, I love it when I come to the UK.
Yeah, they don't fly it over to America, I don't think.
Yeah. You listen to Ramesh's Hip Hop Saved My Life?
Yes, I do.
It's dope, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a quality. And this is what I mean. Like, with podcasts, you can there's so many different things out there. And Ramesh Ranganathan, obviously, he's hilarious as a comedian, but he's like hardcore hip-hop head.
Yeah, he used to be a battle MC.
Yeah. And he knows his stuff. You hear him. I heard him on another podcast. And when you hear people talking about stuff that, you can really relate to, and you're like, I had that album, or I knew that. He'll start quoting lyrics, and you're like, yes, that's it. So I got a lot of respect for him.
Did you hear the one with Frankie Boyle?
No.
Oh, fuck me, listen to that.
Is that a recent one?
No, it's on YouTube, because I only thought they were on YouTube, but they're not. Obviously, you can get them as a website. Which I've discovered, because there was the Mr. B one was the last one I listened to. But the one with Frankie Boyle is hilarious. Like, he
loves rap and hip hop, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's big. Like, he's a big Dirty Dyke fan.
Yeah.
So I think he used one of Dirty Dyke's tracks on his TV show or something. So I saw it come out on Dyke's Instagram. Yeah. So he has this theory that it's so brilliant that Biggie and Tupac were gay in love, right? And then he sort of like dissects like all their verses, and it's kind of like he was
subliminal messaging.
Subliminal like gay. Like, they just go on about it for like 15 minutes. It's just I was crying with laughter listening to it.
There's another. Do you know who Ed Skrein is?
Yeah.
So he's in movies now, but before he
Deadpool,
was,
wasn't he?
but he was a rapper and an MC.
Oh, really?
I heard him on a podcast, and I think he did his top 5. Is either his top 5 albums or top 5 artists, and I think 3 of them are like they're 3 of mine as well. And like in particular, he spoke a lot about Jedi Mind Tricks and Vinnie Paz.
Yeah,
and I'm a huge Jedi Mind Tricks fan, and Vinnie Paz, I love him. Like, he's a bit sort of like cartoony because he's like hardcore gangster. He's constantly talking about guns and stuff, but it's a lot of it is metaphorical, and he's really switched on and smart, and like does a lot of conscious music as well. But to hear other people, I think, talking about this, like I say, podcasts, things that you love that you don't really talk to your mates about, because none of my mates are really into hip hop, to be honest. Like, my brother is, but me and him don't really sit down and chat about it. So this is what I love about, just chats like this. You can connect with people and hear things, even if you're not there.
Yeah,
they'll be like, yes, I've heard that, and yes, I love that. So it's good. It's funny. Ramesh Ranganathan, that's a quality podcast. But the Ed Skrein one, I think he was on. I think it's called the Hardcore List. Yeah, the Hardcore Listing podcast. Right. You check that out. That Ed Skrein episode. It's pure hip hop. It's like 2 or 3 hours. And it's really, really good.
Skrein was on the track with Jabba. So Jabba done a South Coast. Yeah, I've got it on vinyl. I bought it off Jabs ages ago. There's just a track. There was like
he did loads of features, and I think he was on some grime stuff as well, and which I'm not massively into. But
track he done with Plan B as well. I think on Kidulthood or Adulthood.
Yeah,
one of them. I think. Yeah, he's done a lot. He's been in the scene for a while. Another one who broke through was Riz
Ahmed.
Yeah, and like he's done really well for himself, like, because he is a fucking good actor. Not saying Ed Skrein isn't, but like he's just like he's really good in it, and to see him sort of break through into the film.
Yeah, I think he's another one I was listening to recently, and I think he wants to get back into music a little bit more.
I think he should, because he was always political.
And he's 9/11 Blues or whatever. It's a cracking track, wasn't it?
And he still is. He put something up about racial profiling in America, and he's obviously flying backwards and forwards and he's always called up at the airport because of his name and his skin colour, always. And it's him and the same other people like there, and it's just like he's just like, fuck, really? And he's like a movie star. And he's getting pulled up.
It's mad, isn't it?
He was in Rogue One. But doesn't get much bigger than that.
He's in the new Venom film, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah. He plays I don't know. He plays the scientist, the bad guy.
He must be. I'm sure he's buddies with Tom Hardy. That's probably.
Yeah, probably.
Because Tom Hardy's hardcore into his hip hop as well. Like,
is he?
Anyway, going off on a bit of a tangent, but So kind of bring it back to you guys a little bit. As I said, Lewis, the stuff with Gaslight and Andy with NapKings. Why don't you just talk a bit more about what you guys are up to now? Because Gaslight is. Why didn't you explain it? Why didn't you explain it and how it came about?
Do you know what?
I fucking love it. Like, it's, and the whole like steampunk stuff and stuff is, artistically, it's interesting, and anything that's interesting, I think is worth listening to. So, it's interesting to me anyway.
Yeah.
So, but how did that come about, and what's the point of it?
That come about. I'm trying to think. There was a gig again at the Palace. I think new owners of the Palace come in. And there was a gig that was on. I can't remember who it was. Or was it Disraeli gig?
Yeah, I can remember because I was there. Because I remember them playing before.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and we watched them play. And
don't think it was Disraeli.
No, it was some gig. And they were there. They were supporting. And I didn't really speak to them there. So it was Phil and Hammy, who were the two producers for them. And then I think it was. I think maybe I did speak to them. I ended up putting a scratch video up of myself on Facebook, and Phil was just like, "Oh, we're doing a track with Mark Almond, which is called The House Is Haunted. Would you come in and scratch the vocals up?" And I was like, "Yeah, definitely." So went over, and I kind of said to him, I was just like, "Have you got a turntable?" He was like, "Yeah, I've got a turntable. No worries." I was like, "I can just bring my mixer, and that's brilliant. I'll come over." So I went all the way over to Charmouth, got there, and he's like, "All right, yeah, let's do this." We had a chat, and like. So and I was like, "Where's your turntable?" And it was just like some small ass like top of the like thing turntable. And he was like, "Oh shit, no, I know what you mean now." And I was like, "I can have a go at scratching on that, but I don't think it's gonna do." So we had to go back and get my turntable. But yeah, so since then, really, I'd recorded some tracks, scratches for them, and then they just brought me into the live show really. And it's kind of they started.
How's that for you? Because it's like. I mean, there's a bit of dressing up involved and stuff like that.
Do you know what?
I dig.
I used to hate dressing up.
Yeah.
Like always, like in New Year's, I wouldn't dress, or I'd do like minimal effort, like go as an old lady and like go around a charity shop and like wouldn't put any effort into it. Yeah. Just buy. But like I've kind of like really fucking like it now. Yeah. It's nice. And it's kind of like adds to your stage presence. It does, your performance. And
I saw you were doing a photo shoot the other day as well, and I've seen a couple of only the screenshots I think on your Instagram. Or something, but it's a look. It's a good look, I think, and. As I say, when so much stuff is becoming disposable, maybe sometimes there's no harm in having a little bit of an angle in what you're doing. And I think
it's nice because it's completely different to, I still put I inject that hip hop element of it with the scratches, and like with the samples and stuff. But it's different for me, and I've always had that mindset of like do something different because you're only going to progress. You're only going to heighten your skills and stuff if you're doing something out of your comfort zone.
That's it. Yeah.
So that's one of the main reasons why I thought, let's get on and do this. But I mean, the band's changed a little bit now, but we're still we've got a new album coming out called Stranger Swings, which is out hopefully September time. And we're just waiting on a couple of videos to be finished. And we're going to like strategically drop it.
So where can if people want to hear any of that, where can they find that stuff? Stuff that's already out.
Stuff that's already out. Gaslight Troubadours on Facebook. I think we're we're doing a website at the moment. We're going to get like a decent website. I'm going. Yeah. A lot. It's going to go follow in hands with the photo shoot sort of thing. We're just at a point of like doing promo packs and stuff.
Yeah. So is it just three of you? Because
there's three of us. Yeah.
Because you've kind of you're one of these three people. You're not just this person they've come in to
that's
get scratching.
I've had more. We've kind of like dynamics wise. We've got Phil's the producer and he plays the tracks. Yeah. And then he adds he's got a drum kit as well that he plays percussion, adds extra percussion to it. I scratch and put the samples in between bits and so we've got a good dynamic now with the not that we didn't have, but we've kind of like reinvented ourselves a bit and come further, and we've got a good dynamic with the group, which is and we all get along so well, and it's nice. So and through that I sort of met Professor Elemental, so I started to DJ for him now, which is really nice, and it's good because I don't do your average. It's not your average sort of club nights and stuff like that. It's like cosplay, like nerdy events, and I'm a nerd anyway, so I love it.
Recently, you were posing, I think, with Thor or something like that.
It's just a cosplay night, and I got to play afterwards and DJ for Paul. So yeah, it's good. It's actually a really nice community because everyone's so friendly.
Yeah.
You know, no one's being an arsehole or a dick. You know, it's just like everyone sort of like just gets along, and it's like such a nice community to
No, I like I say, it's one of the things that I see that there's a few people sort of locally doing music and stuff, and some of them are better than others and stuff, but just something. When I say fun, don't take that the wrong way, because if you say, oh yeah, that's a load of fun, that can sometimes take a bit away of the kind of the meaningfulness of it, and that's not what I mean. But when I see that, I'm just like, look, there's so much going on here, with what these guys are doing, the sound and even the way they look. I'm sure if there was a huge budget involved, there'd be a mental stage show and stuff like this. It's just so much potential for kind of creativity, and that's why I think it's kind of a good thing for you to
it's a very loyal scene to be in, sort of like the steampunk community. There's a lot of oddity and variety in it, but they are loyal as fans go. They are very, very loyal. Elemental told us that way back. He was like, don't never knock it, because they are a very loyal loyal group of people. They support you, sort of thing. And he's obviously right, because he's always touring, and he goes to do the steampunk conventions in Canada and stuff like that. So
is there anything coming up this obviously summer's soon, and festivals? Are you guys going to be trying to get anything?
Unfortunately, we missed the boat with festivals because we were a little bit late doing bits and bobs with the album sort of thing. We just was fine tuning it, but next year we'll hopefully get back on the festival scene. But there's the steampunk ball, which goes on in Exeter in the Phoenix. So at Christmas time, it's just everyone dresses up, and there's normally a theme to it. I don't know what the theme is yet, but Professor Elemental normally plays there, and we do as well. So Faye, who's the singer in our group, she puts that on at Exeter Phoenix and does an awesome job, and she just brings in loads of like steampunk acts and whatnot. So that's our big one. And I am trying to get Elemental and us to play at the Marine Theatre in Lyme. It's in the pipeline. So fingers crossed.
Cool.
Tie that in. But in terms of festivals and stuff, no, I'm going to Shindig Festival, but I'm not playing. Just going to
we'll tour it next year then. Once
that's the plan. Build up, promo pack and everything.
Cool. And Andy, so how are you trying to keep yourself busy?
So music wise, I mean, Tough Guy, one of our compadres that we do music with.
Been around for a long time.
Proper OG. Who we do the NapKings with. We're still working on this album. It's been going on for a while now, and ironically is called Dedication. We're struggling to find. He's also working on his own album as well, which I'm on a lot of. But and I'm also working on an album with Taylor Made, who's the guy originally we started the NapKings with. Who's not really doing as much with it anymore, because he's up in London sort of and all that. But me and him are working on a separate EP called The Crooked Shadow, which we're doing at the moment. But it's, again, just getting... It's all kind of written now. I just need to get the last sort of bits recorded and all that. Then hopefully we're going to start looking for some more gigs again with the NapKings soon. Because we've kind of not really been bothering too much with that at the moment. We started getting to a point where we were doing quite a bit, didn't we, with it, but... it's been a while really since we've done many gigs. Trying to work on music and all that stuff, and
it was funny because we were gigging quite a bit as a NapKings, weren't we? Especially in Weymouth, because of Lewis Chambers, and he had the factory going, and he was bringing artists in there, so we were
so like Jubilee, we had a bit of a support for them. So we've done that one over in Bristol as well, didn't we? And that, and so there was quite a bit there, but then so we basically started trying to go on this album, but then me and Tuff had a little fallout about an ice cream. Long and short of it.
It was a feast ice cream, to be precise.
We had a little bit of a stupid fallout, so didn't get much done for a few months there. But we're back on it now. So.
It's very hard to work in as a group. This is something I've learned is when everyone's got very different approaches to music and how to get stuff done. It's very hard sometimes to gel and to get stuff. Sometimes it's best just to go away and do your own little bits, and then come back in to work on stuff. Really, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Really?
It can.
And that can delay things, isn't it? And again, back to responsibilities and just time's precious when you get older, sort of thing.
I think the key to with making music in general is you've also, any track you make, I find you've got to put one person as the sort of forefront decider of that particular track, because you're not always going to agree on everything, are you?
No.
So you just need to pick that person that you just go, all right, they can make the final decision on things on this track.
Just learn to let go of a few things here.
Exactly, and it can be hard, and
Yeah.
especially like me and Tuff have it locked. We both have very, very sort of particular styles, I suppose, and influences and everything, which in all honesty, mine and Tuff's are probably quite different actually. So we do clash with that at times, but it's learning to just be like, all right, this time you have it. All right, we go with you this time, and then other times, you go the other way. I think that's the key to making music with anyone is you've got to make it just equal and fair on who kind of gets to have the final say on certain tracks. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, so which we're getting there, aren't we?
Yeah,
we're getting.
I think we just get new material done, get recorded, get.
I mean, there's a lot there to be honest
again.
with you. We have got a serious amount of unreleased material, but it just needs finishing. Right?
So Chima is a friend of ours from Bridport who's funny enough lived in Bridport for quite a while, and then we ended up crossing paths, didn't we? Really, and he's sort of like he's come in, and Vince as well is VNC. He's a drum and bass MC and DJ, and he's sort of like he's come in as well.
Yeah, so he's come in as well. We've always sort of been pals with Vince. I've been pals with him for quite a while, but with different music scenes, and you always sort of talk about doing something, but it never really happens. But he came round to the hip hop, and we've all released a track, didn't we? That's Jabba the Cut produced. That was last year.
Was that recent? That was quite recent. I remember.
Verbal Collective.
Yeah. So that was sort of our first one, and we have got another one in the pipeline at the moment, which Billy and Ben, two friends of ours from up London way.
Yeah.
Good sort of filmmakers, so they done the video, and we had plans of going up to London to record the next video, but we're just trying to sort out. They were at university, finished now, so I think they're quite busy. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So but it's all still there, and we're still trying to do it, and it's good fun. It's just let's say slower than it used to be.
Yeah, we'll hopefully get some more gigs coming up. Boogaloo event as well. Like we'll get some gigs there. Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
What was
Gareth,
that?
if you're listening.
What was a Bournemouth night like the other night? Was that quiet in the end?
It was a quiet night, but it was good. The people that were there enjoyed themselves, and it's quite nice to see an international artist in such a small, close quarters like that. Sean Strange was sound, and he brought his wife along, Salome, I think her name is. So she was like singing at the start, and it was good. Good night, but we'd hopefully have more of them Boogaloo nights in the pipeline. It kind of it's Gareth Bobby who does the nights. It's got tricky for him with venues sort of like shutting down, and it's just hard. Went for a real like rough patch, but it's back on it now. So there's going to be some more stuff going. But he's been going since 2012. He's the first one. He had Rum Committee and Rag and Bone Man before Rag and Bone Man blew up.
Oh, serious?
Yeah. It was the first. That was the first one they done. Was that, and then since then he's had Chris Rivers, so Big Pun's son. Yeah. Sean Strange. 4 Owls, Dirty Dyke. Like loads, Verb T. Like just
Task Force.
Task Force.
We went and watched their little comeback tour. That was cool.
Yeah. It's quite important to get them back in. Yeah. Back in another thing Bournemouth, really support the scene, isn't it? Really.
I think that is another thing that's more of a struggle, because we used to do more of that, putting on sort of nights, even if it wasn't evolved around us playing. You know what I mean? I used to quite enjoy putting on music nights and getting artists, but that's become a lot harder. People aren't as interested as they once were, I think, in going to a lot of them things. You know what I mean? So I think it's definitely harder. So fair play to them for trying to keep it going.
Yeah, totally.
So what about one day roping Gus back in and maybe doing a reunion track?
We've all talked about it.
Do you know what's funny? We saw I saw Harry Warren. So Harry Warren used to do a lot of the master. Well, he'd done all the mastering and recording in the studio in Bridport. And I saw him in Waitrose, and he was like, it's struggling basically, that place, like funding and stuff. They're cutting budgets and whatnot. So he was like, we need to do like a little like fundraiser, and we'd do a track sort of thing, and he's like, get Gus in, do a Ways Of track, and get George Fields to
get all the old schools back, and just everyone, because
everyone that's come through the studio used it, and get to
we wouldn't have been nothing without that place, because we never would have been able to afford to record anywhere if we didn't have someone to give it to us. You know what I mean? So that would be awesome. And me and Gus always talk about it whenever we do. And I think when was it Gus come over? It was near to my birthday, wasn't it? We had a dig, and he come over for a little rap, didn't he, when we were doing a rehearsal?
I've got this.
It's quite nice just to have it. It was only in one of our bedrooms, we were rehearsing for a gig we had come in, and Gus has come over and bust a few verses. It was nice to have him back.
Have you seen CB4?
No.
Oh, there's a film CV4 with Chris Rock in it, and it's about it's like a piss take on NWA, like a spoof sort of film, but the main character in it is called MC Gusto, and there's just like quotes in that film, like there's Ice Cube like saying, "Oh yeah, I remember seeing Gusto at like a family barbecue, but I didn't say anything. I didn't want to trip." So there's all these quotes.
Definitely lift that.
And in my head, I want to do this sort of like the Return of Gusto track, and just take them like Halle Berry and Flavor Flav talking about Gusto, like nick it from the film and have it in there. Yeah. So yeah, Gus, if you're listening, get right in.
I think, I mean, it's something that I think, again, just so many people locally would get excited about. You know, even if it is just like a little one-off thing, and how easy it is to get a video online or something like that today. It's just, it would be a shame to not see that again. Because,
I would like to do it, and we definitely will one day. I think, but it's just that thing of making it happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
That would be very cool to just. Yeah.
Gus, you can get a dog sitter for a day and get it to Bridport.
Bring the dog along. Get it in the video.
Bring the dog.
Get it in the video.
That's it.
Cool.
It's like Jurassic. What was it? Is it Jurassic 5 that had one of their kids rapping on one of the tracks or something?
It was Arkill's kid, wasn't it?
Was it something like that? I knew that was something like that. It'd be like Gus would bring his dog, get his dog to do a little barking verse.
So, I think it's important while you guys are here, because Andy, you've got like a little bit of a reputation.
Right. Right, am I there?
Yeah, no, I just think, and I when I was messaging Lewis about this, I just said, there's something we have to bring up, because there's an event like, I think it's within the last year or so, a few months ago.
I feel like I know where this is going. I think I've got to go, guys.
I just, because to sort of have you here and get it from your point of view would be superb. So, not too far back, you guys were in Bristol for was that a gig you were just going to?
It was actually my birthday.
It was your birthday.
It was my birthday.
Yeah, about a year ago.
So why don't you talk us through what happened at this? Because
all right, so
from an outside view, I'll just tell people what I saw on Facebook was I saw a friend. So I saw Lewis, very, very concerned for the well-being of one of his good buddies, which is you, and it became quite dramatic for a few hours. Everyone was like, "Oh shit, what's going on here?" But why don't you take people through what happened?
Well, so the long and short of it is, my birthday come around. I didn't have any plans. Sort of been busy. I hadn't planned nothing. A friend of ours, Canadian Rob, gave us a ring and said, "Why don't we go up to Bristol? We'll go up for the day, have a few beers, because we got a lot of friends in Bristol." And then he was like, "I won't drink, and I'll drive you back." Lewis come along. We went up straight into the pub, at 11 in the morning or whatever it was. Met all the friends. Quite obviously, we were never going to come back because everyone started drinking quite heavily now. Had a cracking old day, just on the sauce all day, really. And then
we went to Bath as well, didn't we?
We went over to Bath for a bit, some music thing over there. Big barbecue garden party, wasn't it? Seen more friends and all that. It was a cracking day. Then it got towards the end of the night, and I've always been a bit of a nightmare for losing things, to be honest with you, and getting lost. I would definitely openly admit that, and I've had a few. I think
this isn't the first time you've gone AWOL on Facebook. Has anyone seen Andy? Yeah. He's not answering his phone.
Yeah, no, it definitely happens. I quite often lose my phone or something. But so I think it whittled down to must have been about 3 in the morning or something. I think it was only me and Canadian Rob left. We were all staying at a friend of ours' house. So I think we were the last two left, and like, as you can imagine, we've been on it since 11. We weren't in the best of states, you know what I mean? Now, and how I pitched it in my head, so I was actually at the time pissed off with Lewis, because I thought that I got in the cab, right, and I'd gone to the house that I'm meant to be staying in, right? I'm outside the house, and I'm banging on some door, and my phone's dying, it's pissing with rain, right? And I'm trying to ring Lewis, like, "Lewis, let me in," and he's going, "You're not here."
Yeah,
and I was
you're going, "I'm here, I'm on the corner."
Like, "What are you on about? Of course I'm here." And he's going, "No, you're not." And I was like, getting all shirty, like, "Fucking."
Yeah, but you were so drunk and just like adamant you were there. I couldn't even like break it down to be like, "Mate, right, where are you? Give me some." And you were just, "I am here. I am here." And I was like, "But you're not. No, give me. What can you see? I am fucking here." And then
So basically, my phone was dying. So then the phone inevitably ran out of battery, and I didn't know where it was, and I quite clearly was not at the house that I thought I was at. So I've walked back up the town and all that, just going, right, where do I go? Because it's pissing with rain and that, and I'm sort of walking around. So I walk to the train station. I think, oh, you know what? At least there'll be shelter there. The train station's shut, so I've sat outside and I get some girl. The only other person at the other train station is some girl. So I start chatting with her and all that, and she's waiting for her dad to come and pick her up. So I try and blag a lift up her, but they go in a completely different way. She was having none of it. So I don't think her dad was too impressed either, to be honest with you. So then I sat there at this train station, quite wet and drunk, and not too happy about it, cold. So I finally was like, I can't handle this is shit, because I've got no phone, I can't even sort out, I'm not staying out here all night. So I went up to some cabbie and was like, right, I want to go home. It's a Bridport, all right. He wanted about 180 quid, I think. Right? And I was like, don't be so fucking stupid. Sat back down in a strop, I'm not paying that. Then I must have gone on for about 45 minutes and me keep going back up and being like, seriously, give me a cab home for less money and all that. And finally he got down to 100 quid because I basically went, look, you've sat here for the past 45 minutes and done nothing. There's another 8 cabs here.
Yeah.
None of you are going to do anything. There's no one here but
Such
me.
a salesman.
I was just like, just give me a bloody lift home. So he did, to be fair, for 100 quid, right? Then even on the way back...
just in case anyone missed that, from Bristol to Bridport, which is a good 70 miles.
Pretty quite the trek, yeah. So yeah, and then on the way back, we even have to pull over and help some drunk guy out of another cab because one of his mates is...
I didn't realise
yeah. So I'm going back and I'm starting to nod off a little bit in the seat. And then he pulls over because one of his other woman that works for the cab's trying to get a drunk guy out of the cab. Yeah. And he wakes me up and goes, can you give us a hand carrying this bloke? And I was like, oh, what's the play? I'm already paying you 100 quid. I don't put me to work now, isn't it?
I should have knocked off 10 hours.
Yeah. So I had to carry this drunk bloke when I'm very drunk myself, do you know what I mean? Lay him on some wall outside his house. Anyway, so then we get back. I nod off for a bit in the cab, get back to Bridport, and just as we're pulling into Bridport, it's got to be like 5 in the morning now or something like that. I pull in and I'm like, oh, I've not got my keys. I've left my keys in Bristol. Fuck. I literally get outside my front door and I'm just like, I'm in the same predicament I was in Bristol and I've just paid 100 quid to get here. I still can't go inside and sleep somewhere. So I actually went round to a guy I work with, used to work with, and he was with women are friends with the sort of family and all that. So I know they didn't lock their door, so I snuck round there and snuck into one of their beds and had a little nap when they weren't there. And then, bless them, they woke up. When I woke up, they'd obviously come back and tried to sneak in the corner of the bed. They're like, why on earth? There's someone in my bed.
So it didn't even wake you up?
No, yeah, bless her, she didn't wake me up. So then I woke up about 8 o'clock after a couple of hours sleep or whatever, and I was like, right, well, what have I done here? I need to get out of here. So I put my phone on charge for a minute, I think, on the thing.
100 messages, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, ignored them all.
Literally, I was still off my nut. I just didn't care. All I'd done was a friend of mine, Hazel, I just rang her up, I think. Or I had a message from her or something like that. Then I rang her up and was like, I'll come and meet you now. Took the phone back off charge, obviously, that goes dead again. Went and met Hazel, just went drinking all day, just went out. Thinking that Lewis has locked me out of the thing being a knob, so I'm just like, fuck him, I don't care.
Yeah.
If they wonder where I am, they left me out in the fucking rain. So I get on with my day, we walk over the cliffs, go to eat, I think it was, spend the day drinking, and then it was finally that Hazel was like, everyone's going pretty mental. And I just kind of went, fuck them, I don't care, ignore it. And then we kept on bumping into people, and they'd be like, are you alright? Because everyone's looking for you. And I was like, oh God, maybe this is getting a little bit out of hand. And
yeah, we phoned in a missing persons in Bristol because we sat there for so long, couldn't get hold of you. Your phone was dead, didn't know where you were, and we wanted to go home. And we were like, well, fucking, what do we do?
See, as I've said, this is not the first time I think this has happened, or something similar like this has happened. So I would see Lewis posted on Facebook. Yeah, Andy's still not answering his phone, starting to get worried. And think you like filming yourself walking around Bristol, like, where the fuck is Andy? Like, where is he?
Yeah, because you said you were in some doorway, like, because you come to the, you said you were there. In my head, I pictured you asleep in a doorway somewhere. So I went and done like a full circuit round, like looking in like the doorways and stuff. Yeah, but couldn't find you. That was at like 8 in the morning.
I saw you kind of turn from first like, this always happens, we'll find him, to shit, okay, where is he? Like, we're in Bristol. And there's like genuine concern. And this is where you could see people on Facebook like, oh no, can't get hold of him. And, I'd be following it like, shit, I hope Andy's all right. And then it's like 7 hours later, don't worry, everyone, he got a taxi back to Bridport. And it's just like, you could not have asked for a better result to that story. And it's just like, thank God he's all right. But that is hilarious. It probably would have been...
It was around the spate as well of there was like someone who was like pushing
people in the river.
Yeah. And like so Joey was like, fuck, brought that to my attention. And then Canadian Rob, being Canadian Rob, was kept on jokingly going, hey, he probably got pushed in the river. I was just like, it's not funny.
He's probably drowned. It's all right, he'll wash up on the shore.
So I once had a similar one when I was in the Alps with a few friends doing some snowboarding and all that. And I tell you what, this was actually the most worrying one, because I actually did get a little bit worried I was going to die of hypothermia today. But we all went to like the next town along from where we were all staying for like a night out. And me and actually talking to Zach, who I went with, who used to do Ways of Mouth, we both got super pissed, and we always had a bit of a habit of just winding each other up and having like sort of play fights and all that when we're drinking. So we got kicked out of this club or whatever because we're just being nightmares, really. Tommy, who we were with through a wobbly, he was driving, and so drove off and left us both there thinking they'd just get a cab back because they've been annoying. Me and Zach somehow just completely lost each other because we're just winding each other up. I've ended up in a doorway, standard.
Yeah, again.
Phones ran out of battery, of course. I'm curled up in a doorway in fucking Alps, fucking snow everywhere, freezing my bollocks. Like drunk, but just going, no, the drunkenness is not helping it. Absolute agony. So I'm walking around the Alps like, oh my God, this is bad. I seriously need to... Because I don't have a clue where I am. I don't speak no French.
Can't get a taxi back to Bridport.
I can't even tell you where I want to go because I don't even bloody know. I've only been there a few days or something. So I was walking around just trying doors, and I ended up managing to get in some door and going up into some hotel, and I went up to like the 3rd floor or something, and there was like one of them, on the hallway of all the hotel doors, there was like a toilet, a shared toilet thing that anyone could go in. So I just went in, locked the door, curled up, went to sleep. Woke up the next day.
Just this is not a hotel you had a reservation.
No, this is a completely different town I was even meant to be staying in. I come out of it, I walk downstairs, all like a bit sheepish. Walk right through a breakfast hall, everyone eating, and I swear they all just knew something was going on because they all just looking at me, and I was like, "Oh,
who's this guy?"
Then I went to I was walking around, just going, right, I need to get back somewhere. So I didn't know what to do, so I went in the police station and was like, right, I need to get to this other town, blah blah blah. And they were like, oh yeah, there's a bus here in a minute. I sat outside that police station for like 3 hours, nothing turned up. I went back in and was like, seriously, like, there's not a bus. And they were like, oh yeah, it's Sunday, the bus doesn't come. I was like, oh, you bastard. Anyway, I have a whole long day of trying to get home. Obviously my phone's still dead, so I'm assuming that everyone's worried about me trying to get hold of me, right? I finally figure it out and I managed to get back. Walk back into the house we're all staying at, maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon or something, right? Walking in thinking that, people might give a shit where I've been. All they've done is I've left my Facebook logged in, so they've uploaded loads of gay porn onto my Facebook. And all just found that absolutely hilarious. No real worry of where I've been or how I survived the night.
Like the complete opposite of the whole Bristol.
And I just literally was like, fuck all of you, I'm going to bed. I don't even care. I think some of that gay porn's still on my Facebook. They put so much up, yeah.
Amazing.
So that goes to show why I probably didn't really think that they were looking for me on that Bristol night, because after that, you've just got probably just more gay porn.
You've been burnt in the past. They don't give a shit.
That's sort of what our group of friends is usually like. Yeah, so.
Well, yeah, it's a good thing you didn't freeze to death or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, good.
Survival instinct, though.
Cool. All right, well, we've been going for like nearly an hour and a half now, so we'll start to wrap this up in a minute. But before we do, obviously... Yeah, we've spoken a lot about hip hop, and you guys are well into your hip hop. I just thought a nice little thing to kind of round us up. If it's a hard question, a tough question, but why don't both of you give me a favourite hip hop album of all time? Oh. One, and it can be. Don't worry about it being one that you think is technically, or critically like this. Just the one that means a lot to you, that defines you, and one that you'll never stop listening to. Even and it changes with me often. My top few will change depending on how I'm feeling, but there's got to be something that you really dig that you think.
One, I think. For me, Chronic 2001, the Dre.
Well, yeah, that is just no one's ever really made an album quite.
Yeah, and the thing is that it was like the album that got played at all the house parties, like not ones that we were playing at, just like if someone was having a house party, it was the CD that everyone had that got put on when everyone was just getting stoned around a table. Yeah. And I can remember just being in the house parties where you had like hip hop people, and then you had sort of like the punk sort of like rock people, and the CD player would constantly be like changing. It'd be like right, some 41's in there, and then that gets taken out, and it's just Dre's back in there. 2001. So
I think
it's a dope album.
I'd have to say, to be honest with you, that's obviously a definite one. But I'd say maybe even like early Jurassic 5 EP, because I always found that was one of them things that you had, like you say, you had the hip hop lot and you had the rock a lot, and I always felt people met in the middle with that one, that we all kind of could vibe out on a bit of Jurassic 5. Yeah. So that was probably quite a big one for me. When I first got that, because I'd obviously listened to all the Dre and the more commercial stuff. And I think when I first came across Jurassic 5 at school, I think that was quite a big step for me, because I just really quite enjoyed that. Yeah. You know?
Have you seen Defiant Ones on Netflix documentary?
Yeah, I did watch that. I fell asleep though, to be honest.
That is quality.
You
fell asleep, did you say?
I did fall asleep for quite a bit.
Did you try and watch it in one hit?
Yeah, pretty much.
But this is like what we said earlier about how hip hop has such an influence from other genres of music, and that documentary shows that, because Jimmy Iovine, who's working with John Lennon and Bruce Springsteen and everybody, and then all of a sudden he's helping produce hip hop, and Dre, the biggest thing in hip hop, and you just see how it all feeds into it. And that documentary is incredible. I mean, there's a lot of stuff watching it. I'm like, because when you're like a hip hop nerd, you hear all these stories and you know how people got together, and they go through all Death Row records and stuff like that. But there's so much like footage in there that you'll just have never seen before.
Yeah. There's old footage of Dre, dressed as the Doctor, like cutting it up, like in Alonzo's place, and I hadn't ever seen that footage before or anything like that. I knew that existed, but never saw it.
He got like the shit ripped out of him, didn't he? Like and saying that he was wearing makeup and sparkly jackets and stuff. But he was like, look, I had to. This is the only way for me to, to DJ and to get
make
on
his
there.
money, earn his bread.
Fair play.
Yeah, it's good. It's a well produced documentary. I like the way it sort of like goes from both sides. It tells the story of both at the same time, doesn't it? And then brings them together. And with Death Row and Jimmy Iovine like having to sort out all the shit sort of thing. And everyone thought he was just crazy for it. Like, fucking hell, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
cool.
Brilliant.
All right, well, Lewis, Andy, I think unless there's anything else you guys want to chat, have you got anything else you want to plug, anything we've not covered?
I'd like to say shout out to Boogaloo Hip Hop, so get them on Facebook, Boogaloo HQ.
Yep.
More gigs coming with them. Gaslight Troubadours as well.
Yep.
We've got, like I said, album coming out September time, hopefully, Stranger Swings, so get them. And myself, Victor Vector. Hit me up, Facebook, done. Andy, plug away.
That's just NapKings, isn't it? Like I say, hopefully sometime soon, by the end of this year, we should have a new NapKings album. Hopefully a few new music videos and stuff out. That's all.
Yeah, we've got some
in
tracks
the pipeline and all that.
Glad to Meet You from Arizona.
So working on a few of them, hopefully.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's about it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep an ear out when I finally get round to finishing this Crooked Shadow EP as well.
Cool. All right. Well, nice one, boys. Yeah, thanks for coming along.
Thank you for having us.
Nice one, Kels.
We'll do this again next time your album, your music's out.
Yeah, sweet.
Catch up again.
Spot on.
Cool. Cheers.
Wow.
Cheers.
Thank you.